Quick check to see if my things are working here.
Hello and welcome to Tales from Temple Tankard. I am Jim, aka Argent Wind, and I am your DM for Avress: The Shattered World. I'll begin jumping in here real soon. But as always, if you're looking to play D&D games, join our Discord server. There are some new D&D games hopefully coming up here. We may have a couple of holiday one shots happening. You might be able to jump in on if you want to give it a shot. And you're looking to be a DM. Every Thursday, I do a DM and D chat where we talk about different topics in running games. Last week we just had one running specifically horror games, making your games a little more spooky, and just in time for the holiday season. Next week we're going to be doing keeping it going, talking about how to keep campaigns going throughout different difficult situations, and discussing different ways that you can kind of overcome those hurdles and such. So next Thursday, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. But today we are here for Avress. And our party last week had finally made it to Bilgewater after having dispatched some bandits on the outskirts of town and capturing one of them, specifically a goblin. They learned that was named Kemic. They let him go with the agreement that he would either try to tell people that the party had been killed or track down some other people that got away and tell them to uh, lay low or not mess with anything. But the party left him and wandered off into the village itself. There they met the village reeve upon entry to the town. There, got some provisions at the general store, ate at the salty tap house, and was informed that they would have rooms available as it was getting toward evening already. And as the rain was starting to come down, they went up into the common room area above the warehouse down near the docks. However, in the middle of the night while they were resting, a urgent warning came from the dagger that Amethyst holds, and as they looked around to see what was going on, shadows moved up through the floor, through the walls, and loomed over them and attacked. The party managed to dispatch them, but in the process, both Eldon and Lucas were weakened by the shadow's touch.
I'm in a serious deadly spot here.
And as the alarm spell went off, Lucas moved around the side there to see what looked like the village reeve, not acting as old and decrepit as he was before, spouting things about the shadows take them and such. And Lucas just dropped a fireball on him in the corner of the upper story there, blowing up the back wall of the warehouse and destroying the stairs. And the reeve dropped down into flames and wreckage in the stairwell, and was not heard from again. As the party is recovering and finishing off the last of the shadows, Sora dispatching a shadow demon that was focusing especially on her. The party heard a voice from below calling out, "Who are you people?" And that echoed to a previous conversation on the ship on the way here, where Anli, the daughter of the village elder of Silverleaf, asked them a very similar question: "Who are you people?" And the discussion turned to, well, what are you going to be called here moving forward? So we'll start off with that. Do we have a name for this group?
I don't think so. Not yet.
There's a lot of suggestions thrown around here. So
I like the
guys,
idea
so
that
many.
Raven's Crest is mentioned because that's where our home is.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh.
That one. Go ahead, Amethyst.
They're like the bejeweled ones.
But Tails also, because Tails has all of our initials in the word, which is pretty cool because it's Tales from the Tumble Tankard.
I never put that together before.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every time, immediately spells out just sucks instead.
Nope.
But
Well, the question was asked, essentially the man asking who they are. If you're going to not answer or leave it for another time, I just want to get something out there.
I'm fine with tails.
How about Tales of the Tumble Tankard? That was our first place that we stopped, and we do make up the tales as it is.
Just
That's my official suggestion.
we're not from the Tumble Tankard. We're from Ravenscrest.
We're not.
So
And only two of us have tails,
true.
as far as I know.
Tales. Yeah, you haven't seen mine. You don't know about half of them.
I don't have a tail
We
That
know.
you know of.
that I know of. Yeah.
I mean, if it's like a tiebreaker situation, I think I would go with tails, but that's just me.
I am also fine with tails.
Yeah, just Tales.
What does our DM think?
I like it. I think the idea of a lot of the suggestions you guys have thrown around was incorporating some sort of version of Raven's Crest or something else. So if you wanted to bring them both together, maybe they're Raven Tails.
Ooh,
Sure.
I
Let's
quite
do
like
that.
Raven's tails. I like that.
I like it.
RT.
I think we got a name, guys.
Okay. All right. So if we're all good with that, you guys can call it out to the man yelling at you the uh, from the wreckage below. You basically have the voice kind of so in the process of you guys were actually through Eldon was using so Eldon I took the liberty of you casting Dragon's Breath for ice on your that's one of the reasons why one of your third level spell is out, one of the slots is gone.
Okay.
To basically ice the fire and kind of combat the fire there. Trevor brought his Drake companion in as ice as well, who was spitting little ice shards on the fire as well, putting it out. And so the fire was under control as you heard the voice bellow out from below there. Who is up there? Who are you people? And so that's where we find ourselves in the evening. Let's go ahead and move you guys over to that map. So you should be able to everyone see this map now. With the corner sort of smoldering and blackened there.
Everything's so bright and vivid for me now. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's all bright now, so you should everyone should be able to see everything now. So you can't let me know. But yeah, so yes, essentially you are all kind of up in this area here. Some of you were injured from last time, so you guys can kind of and so yeah, the voice coming from down below here in the corner. Who are you people? And effectively, you have the chance to respond.
We are Raven Tails.
Okay.
I'm trying to put the fire out. I'm not even paying
Okay.
attention to that guy.
Okay,
Just-
yeah. The fire is mostly at this point there. Essentially, it's not spreading throughout the building there, a little bit smoldering on the edges there, but it is also pouring down rain, which reminds me, we are in the middle of the rain, so let's get the rain going here.
I'm also like leaning against the wall, like using the wall to support myself here.
Yeah. So yeah, Lucas and you both all notice that Lucas and Eldon are both struggling a bit there. They definitely look. I mean, Eldon, you are not wearing your armor right now. The only thing you have really is your gauntlet, and you probably have use magic missiles there. So you put your gauntlet on. That's about it. Your armor is still piled up there, and most of your gear is still set aside. You guys are pretty much all in whatever you were sleeping in, whatever weapons you can grab. So yeah.
that point, I'd look up at him, and assuming we're all like conglomerated in the same place. Um, but I mean, Amy has pretty much already said, like we've confirmed our name already, right? Previous is when they're asking, so we would know it at this point.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So essentially, we kind of flash back to the ship when you guys decided on it. You come here, and so when he calls it out there, you guys, yeah, you Raven Tails.
Well, you made a mess is what you've done.
Damn it! And you kind of hear him like,
Go on, back to your homes, everyone. Take care of things here.
But really, really weird way to say thank you, but I'll accept nonetheless.
I mean, he's down the hole below, like yelling up at you, and so he basically is yelling out to the people who are gathering out in the street there, are looking out there. So, which you really can't see. You just kind of hear that from the voice down below. You will see. Let me go ahead and move this to the map layer. If you look over the edge, kind of in the bit of the light that's still smoldering from the flames there, you will see a large. He's wearing leather, kind of the banded leather armor. Has holding a spear. He's looking up. He turns back and looks up at you guys from below there.
Well, this is one hell of a mess. Just a minute.
And you actually see him reach down into the rubble and pick up the body of the Reeve.
Strong one, you up there. Here, take this.
And he basically holds up, like he basically is holding the body there.
We can't leave this down here where everyone can see.
Okay. I guess I'll grab it.
Okay, so he literally just hooks it up to you enough that you can catch onto it and grab and pull the body back in. It's singed, kind of twisted and bit broken there. Old man, most kind of the hair burned off, a lot of the clothing burned and everything else. And he says,
Move back, I'm coming up.
Eh?
He jumps up, and you see the spear come up through the opening, the kind of the ragged opening that's been spaced there, and he turns the spear sideways and catches on either side, and then pulls himself up.
Cool.
Kind of sets him up here. He's
Show
definitely
off.
like wet. Well, there's no stairs anymore, so there's no way to get up here. So it's either that or keep yelling at you from below. So-
That's.
Looks all over you. As his hair is very wet there, like water's dripping off of his armor and everything, and he's just looking around at all of you, like,
I can see you're all kind of the worse for wear. My name, Borthus. I'm basically the only thing that passes for a commander of the guard or whatever here in this place. I'm looking around. Can we move back from here? I'm kind of like looking over the edge, further inside. I think the people outside are going to stay out of the rain for the moment, but I need to know what happened, what's going on.
I want to like move over to where my bed was.
Yeah, your bed was kind of back in the back over here,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
you were also at one point working at the table in this corner over here.
Wherever my gear is, I'm gonna stumble over and
Yeah.
I'm gonna start putting.
It's
them
probably
on my...
mostly stacked up on this chair, on the little chest right here. Some of it's inside, so basically you can kind of start pulling it off. And
Yeah,
on
that's.
and same with the rest of you.
trust.
You want to step aside there. He'll kind of move over and kind of just take a kind of survey the whole thing. At this point, the lights that
I
were there.
will. I'll drag the body and put it here on that bed.
Okay.
You gave me.
Right. No worries. And so, you guys can move, and so he's just sort of surveying what happened. And what you'll notice is that there's very little damage done other than the fireball that was in here, because the shadows moved through the walls. They didn't cause any physical effects. The only thing that you see is the spaces where they moved through the wall or were moving through the beds and anything else that were there are somewhat devoid of color. Like the colors where they were, like they moved through, are somewhat muted.
Are the bodies of the things, or did they just disappear?
They all just disappeared.
Okay,
They all just sort of melted away into nothing.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and the body of the shadow demon as well, sort of like just sort of like just melted into nothing and kind of oozed away as it was dispatched. One thing you would have seen, and this you kind of had the better view of most people because where you were you were kind of standing back and watching things happen there. The shadows themselves sort of oozed their way through spaces. Like they oozed through cracks in the walls, through the cracks in the floors, whereas the demon just moved through it. Like it wasn't even there. It could just like kind of. So the demon was more incorporeal, while the shadows sort of had some physical form. So they kind of moved through gaps in the walls and through the cracks in the windows and everything else like that. So, a little difference that you noticed there. In every space where those shadows moved through or kind of moved around, the colors are somewhat muted. And so, as you guys kind of put on your gear and do what you need to do and everything else, that forth, this is sort of like,
Well, I suspected something was going to be a problem. I just didn't know to what extent. When I returned earlier this evening, there was a greenskin, a little one, collapsed outside my house. He was in bad shape. I brought him inside, with multiple stab wounds and such, and he was still somewhat conscious, delirious in and out. I patched him up, put him on the couch. He woke up maybe half an hour ago and told me that the people that were visiting were probably going to be in trouble. So I put on my gear, left him there, and came into the village. As I was approaching, I saw a dark, cloaked figure leaving the Reeves' home. But it wasn't moving like the Reeve normally does. So I followed. I did see, however, that he was carrying his typical cane, but not moving like he needed it, which I've never seen before. So, as I approached here, the fireball went off for whatever that explosion was, and here we are. So,
Did you hear
what-
him call out? Did you hear the Reeve call out before?
I
that happened?
didn't. I wasn't that close at that point, and the rain is making it a little hard to hear. So, I saw him enter the warehouse, and before I could approach and do anything else, the explosion happened. So, what did he say?
Basically, he's in league with the darkness.
He said exactly the same thing that the shadow demon said.
After I get my gear put on, I'm gonna like go wherever everyone else and just basically collapse on the floor.
just kind of right about here.
I've got like a whole whopping
Three
two strength right now, or
Two
three
strength?
strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, three.
Yeah, so also kind of like wearing all your gear, you're kind of like, and kind of
Oh yeah, totally
Oh.
winded. It's
Yeah.
like one of those like slow like collapses to the floor.
yeah, I would say your armor and your museum device there are pretty much all you can carry at this point. You are
Oh,
literally at your maximum capacity to the
For
point
sure.
where it's like you're moving kind of slow, actually, kind of like and kind of plunked out on the floor there.
I'll go up
So-
to him and rest my hand on his shoulder, and
I, like wipe sweat off my brow. Like
not much. In fact, it's very, very bad. That means I rolled a 2.
Yep. So
I'll take it.
a little bit of healing there, yes. Yeah, the bulk of the damage is taken by Sora and Lucas, but
Yeah, it's not so much
Help.
damage as it is
Yeah, the strength.
stats
Yeah,
destroyed.
yeah. So looking at all of you, like, what attacked you? I mean, I can see that you're obviously hurt, but I don't see anything here.
So, demon attacked through the floor and the walls.
The demon?
Yeah. Shadowy kind. I need to catch my breath, and then I can provide more details on the physiology and religious ramifications of demons and the. Okay.
I don't think I need a treatise on the whole thing. There's a, so, something shadow, you say?
Well, looks at all of you.
Yeah.
Multiple
speaking of
shadow
which-
creatures, shadow demon things.
Like this, yeah.
But my question is, were there any sightings of anything else in this town, or was this like an isolated incident in this cabin?
No. There have been... this town's been plagued for a month or so. People complaining about things moving in the darkness, things... just people being afraid. Not afraid to leave their homes, afraid to do anything.
He kind of looks over at the Reeves body, like,
I think he was part of it all, but I can't do anything about it.
Well, you don't have to now.
No, hopefully
Yeah.
not.
When this started, did it coincide with the last time you had visitors here?
Yes, they've been here for a while, kind of coming and going, moving in and out of the place. That ranger and that darker, creepy one.
Yeah.
He moved into Cormier's cabin shortly after Cormier disappeared.
We actually came here looking for them,
Well,
tried
sorry
to
you
get
couldn't.
rid of them.
Sorry you couldn't have been here a few weeks ago when they were still here. Well, a week ago. Days. I'm losing track these days. It's that the Reeve would meet with them behind closed doors and make me wait outside. I wasn't able to listen in on their conversations, so I suspect he had things to do with them, but I don't know what and to what extent. But people have been gone missing in this town ever since they arrived. I've been trying to find out more, but without knowing the extent of it, and frankly, that Wraith and the Ranger and their followers, I mean, it's like I couldn't do anything without risking coming under their attention.
Yeah, he's in league with some nasty kind of people, necromancers and vampires and the like. So,
None of that. Well, I hope there's none of that here. I don't know. I know that there was the pale one with the sword. They heard him referred to as Wraith. There was the ranger with the bow that kind of commanded most everyone else. The two of them seem to be in charge.
and yeah, that was something very similar to that amethyst. Dark
every time I hear his name, I clench my teeth.
Mhm. He doesn't seem to notice. I mean, he's just sort of like glancing all over you, and you can see, obviously, you can those of you with the higher insight there, you definitely can tell that he's a person who's kind of at his wit's end, who's kind of desperate for anyone to listen and believe, because he obviously hasn't been able to do anything. He definitely looks large and strong as far as you can tell, but there's nothing of any sort of religious or arcane implements around him. There's no magic on him that you guys can see. He just seems to be a trained soldier of some type, maybe. based on his bearing and the weapon he carries, which is as you see there, it is a metal hafted spear, with a very much like a stylized, almost like a harpoon style point to it. But it is all made of metal, so there's almost no. I mean, when you saw him like reach up there and pop it through the opening there was very little flex to it there. So it's obviously very strong as well. So well made.
If we search the Reaver's body, do we find anything on it?
You won't find much. So give me how thorough are you going to be searching his body?
Very
Well,
thorough.
I would say I'll drag myself over there
Okay.
and
So-
help with that.
So essentially, what you'll find a couple of things. Then he's wearing just sort of like robes, what you might be wearing around the house, kind of like that, with a dark cloak over top. All is kind of all kind of like burned and scorched for the most part there. So it's sort of a linen like night shirt kind of thing. He is wearing boots. So he was working barefoot there with a heavy cloak pulled over the top of it there.
Do the boots have fur? 'Cause, you know, boots with the fur.
I mean, they're warm. It is sort of, and it's sort of winter at this. It is early spring now at this point, so they are sort of like have some sort of a coating because he lives on the coast, so they're kind of like rain boots almost, more along that there. Okay. The two things you'll find there underneath this there you will find an amulet of some kind, and give me religion checks to see if you recognize the amulet there.
Guidance.
You would think that Sora is trained in religion, but she is not.
Eventually,
no.
eventually you can be, obviously. Just need to get proficient. It will be an option at some point. Okay.
I cast guidance.
All right.
27.
Oh no, I didn't say that ever. Which check again? Sorry.
So what? Religion, if you got it. So it's something. If you. 96. Okay, so yeah.
I can roll half
I
bad.
don't know why mine's not showing up.
Yeah, double check your beyond 20. Make sure it's activated because I
I
didn't
got a
come
6.
over. Okay. All right. So yeah, 15 or higher. Yeah, that's a DC there. So you will recognize the symbol as the symbol of Nero, which is the god of murder and death.
Nice.
So the amulet itself there. What you'll see there is it is sort of a darkened. It's sort of a darkened, what looks like a tattered cloth of some kind with a sickle across it. So kind of a sickle with a sort of a wavy cloth-like shape behind it, almost like it's draped over the point of the sickle. So it's kind of like almost like it's drifting in the wind. You will also find on the inside of his on the inside of his arm up here is another, what looks to be a more recent tattoo, based on the fact that there's no fading or anything else of the ink that would be on someone if this person got this tattoo a long time ago and he's the age he is, it would have faded or anything else around the edges there. It's still a pretty crisp tattoo. But the inside of his arm there, it looks like a square tower with what looks to be two disc-like shapes overlapping behind it. And you realize it's, looking at it, it's what looks like the two moons, like one overlapping the other behind the tower. And a few of you would recognize this because you've probably taken a closer look at it since you had it in your party here. The fact that the tower looks very much like the tower that's on Trevor's coin.
Right. Interesting.
So, you have not seen this design anywhere before. Like I said, this is fairly recent looking. You're not sure the exact significance of it, but you can probably guess at it.
You sure about that?
Well, you had
Um,
bits and pieces of it, so essentially you've seen the tower on the coin, so and the coin is related to the Dark King, so there could be some connection there as well.
I'm just in so much pain.
Yeah. So, so Lucas, it's a little hard, like maneuvering the body around or anything else like that, because you're at what, 8 strength now or 6? I think you lost 4 strength before.
Yeah, I'm on 6. Yeah.
Yeah, so 6 strength. Okay, yeah, so you're quite a bit less strong than you normally are. So, and just with the amount of damage you took and everything else, you're pretty winded and it's like. So you're not carrying a body around, but you can kind of like move it there, and Eldon, you can kind of looking at the body and kind of seeing things there, seeing some of these things. Other than that, you will spot. Let's see. Give me investigation checks for any other details. Those you were examining the body.
Guidance.
You're not wrong there,
Nope.
Trevor.
I just put that together now, Jim. Literally
Yeah.
just now.
Okay.
That's a natural one.
All right. Okay. So Amethyst, while you're kind of there, you spot something that you spot a couple things. First of all, the cloak, kind of tucked underneath the back of the cloak there that didn't get hit by the fireball specifically, but kind of tucked underneath. There's some dust and what looked to be like traces of cobweb, maybe. Kind of, there's still like underneath the folds of the hood of the cloak in the back. So the explosion went off all around him there, but there's still a little bit of traces back in the folds behind the neck there. The other thing you will spot is his fingernails have like some like crust of like dirt or something under his fingernails and kind of around the edges of his fingers. And upon examination, especially with a natural 20 there, that's not dirt, it's dried blood.
Lovely.
The only other thing, you don't see his cane on him. So there is that. He's not carrying any other weapons. Let me double check that. Yeah, he's not carrying any other weapons there. Yeah, you guys are pretty well beat up there, and since you got interrupted in the middle of your long rest, you have not had a chance to recover anything yet at this point. So Morthus looks you over there and say,
Well, I think that I don't know what the townsfolk are going to be like here. I since the people left, since Wraith and the others left, there's still been a lot of people acting scared, people acting suspicious and mistrustful. I don't know. It's not normal for this place. I don't think this is... I mean, seeing now the Reeve being here, I don't think the influence completely left. Obviously, since you were attacked here. The goblin that came to me said that, well, that you were in danger, that something had been left behind to deal with you. He'd found out. He's still back at as far as I know, still back in my house.
How did the goblin know that something was coming for us?
I didn't ask that many more details. Maybe we can ask him. He said that he found out and barely got away. Obviously, he was attacked.
Right.
So I assume, well, I know goblins were a part of their party, so what this one was doing coming to warn me about a threat to you. I don't know why.
Do you know
So-
what his name was? Do you know which goblin it was?
I didn't get his name. He had a bunch of daggers on him.
Huh. That was probably our friend. What happened to this guy's friend, the orc?
This is the orc.
I was gonna say,
Oh, he is the orc. Okay.
Yes, this is Borthus. Yeah, so this is the half orc there with the spear that you saw before. So, yeah, so he was the one that was standing behind the Reeve when you met the Reeve yesterday, and so kind of acting as a guard or something. So this is that guy you saw.
So the people in the village, did they like the Reeve?
Well, they've been the Reeve took over from his father before him, as far as I know. So they've been kind of watching over this place and running this place for 50 or more years. I don't know, long before I came here. I've only been here a couple of years.
But if the Reeve has been into some dark stuff and people are still supporting him, does that mean that they are into the same sort of stuff, or are they just loyal for loyalty's sake?
I hope not, but I mean, I don't know. I guess that some townsfolk were more worried about these visitors that were here than others. I don't know. Some went missing, some left with them. Some of the villagers left with them when their ship left, and when the wagon went toward Northport.
Mm-hmm.
They split up in different directions. Seem to.
I mean, can you talk to the people and try to explain that we were basically attacked by demons and stuff, and the Reeve came here to harm us?
I could try. I mean, I don't know that. I mean, they might believe me over you, but
like the townsfolk or what? I mean, we didn't know much coming in here other than offering a helping hand, and we get attacked in our sleep. Now, clearly they had nothing to do with that, but a warning, like you said yourself, this has been happening for about a month now or so.
since Wraith and Koresh showed up, yes. I mean, not the disturbance, the disappearances and the creepier aspect didn't happen until Wraith came.
Right. And you
Well, that's here before that.
Spirits or whatever they're called. You said this isn't the first attack. How many
Well-
ghosts have you lost?
There hasn't been an attack. People have gone missing. That thing is, no one's been attacked by shadows. They've just been creeped out by things in the darkness. And this is the first time I'm seeing an actual attack like this. But about 6 people have gone missing.
Well, Wraith does have a tendency to kidnap people that he can use. Like people that can fix airships, for example.
I wondered about that. Those people didn't seem to be exactly volunteers, but they were put to work on fixing the thing. I didn't realize they were kidnapped, but
I mean, we need a good night's rest, but we'll definitely be gone tomorrow, and hopefully we can get to Wraith and return your people before he harms them. Obviously, we can't promise that, but we'll do our very best to do that. So we just need to rest before we can go, really.
I don't think the people that left with him were kidnapped.
Right,
They-
okay.
They seem to be. They went with him. It wasn't. They didn't go in chains. They didn't go at knife point. They boarded the ship and left.
That still doesn't mean that they weren't kidnapped. They could have been threatened, or their family members could have been threatened. But we'll figure it out when we find them.
All right. Well, I will. Well, what would you have me do then?
Just
Uh,
try to
if
let us
you-
have a good night's rest.
yeah, I need sleep pretty bad. It yeah.
No, I don't. I don't
Is
think
that
anyone's coming up
That girl's
here
still
right
on
now.
fire?
It's at this point it's gone about the most part there. So
Okay.
the rain is still coming down pretty heavily. So any of the last like you were able to put all the interior fires out, but the exterior ones have been rained on for the last like 15 minutes now. So it's the last little bits that were there have gone out. It's just all just sort of smoldering and kind of there is a bit of cold and damp over in the air now because that part of the building is wide open. So
Yeah. Thanks for that, Lucas.
Oh, it's a little warm in here.
We are really truly sorry for the damage, and I'm sure Lucas will offer to pay for repairs.
Are you sure? Okay, fair enough.
well,
I think-
I'm sure it'll be appreciated. I know that.
Actually, while it's still raining and dark, I think this might be the best time to go out and search the Reeves hut. Any extra information we can get.
I won't stop you if you want to go into his place.
We got woke up in the middle of the night. What time is it?
About 3 in the morning.
About 3 in the morning.
I mean,
I can make.
Eldon, yeah, you're basically you like.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I can make myself look like him, so it doesn't look like it's somebody else going in there. Although, I don't really want to talk to anybody.
It was raining, dark, and early hours in the morning, so there's not likely to be many people around. Is what I'm thinking.
Well, I mean, if you want to examine his place, I mean, if there's any information about anything,
Right.
it'd probably be there.
We already got permission
Yeah.
from the town, from the captain of the guards, more or less. So, I mean, I'm sure we could do it in the morning after we've had some sleep. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think
Although-
there's that many people in the family. I really don't. With Eldon in the state that he's in, a couple of you
Well-
all himself.
I was thinking of doing it without anyone noticing. That's the point. We can do it now. If we do it tomorrow, people are going to see us.
I go where you all go.
I'm concerned with going now, Lucas, because I only have one divine sense left. So if we get there, we got one shot at me using it.
Well, there's nothing to say that
And
Want to
I
find
mean, if
information more
there's-
than anything.
if there's a shadow demon there, I get one hit, like, or a shadow. I mean, that's all that wrote it.
But we don't do that. Okay.
I'm
Maybe
just-
if me and Sora go and stand outside, and Sora uses divine sense, and if there is anything in there, we'll come back.
Well, we know
Still not going to go in there.
that's not going to help her track it down necessarily, though, is it?
We're looking for information,
I-
though, not more shadow demons.
Right. We're looking for information. So, like, I'd have to go in the building, ping, find out if there's anything of a fae or devil or celestial being in there. And then if there is, then we know we have to kind of just let it be and go rest. We can't go in there and fight. We're not going to have the strength to do it.
Hmm.
But at least we'll know it's there. And if it's not there in the morning, then it moved on.
Well, either way, what we're looking at is, I don't think one of us, or two of us, or even three of us should go. If anyone should go, and it should be all of us, just in case. But at the same time, like you said, Eldon's narrowly not fit for travel himself.
I could ritually cast floating disc. Do have that prepared, so I could float my own self.
Be an Eldon wagon.
Yeah, Eldon wagon.
Kind of push him
I have
along.
an Eldon wagon that you can push me along with.
I was really thinking of sneaking in rather than going in all guns blazing and looking for a fight.
I hear you. I'm with you.
Let's get our stealthiest members
Me.
and do reconnaissance.
Obviously not. Okay.
Look, if what your suggestion, Lucas, is as long as I don't run into any fight, I can be pretty much in and out fairly quickly. And I wouldn't have to worry about fumbling for lighters or a torch or anything of the sort. You just tell me what you're looking for, and I can be in and out while you all get some rest. this is out of character. This is always a great idea.
Well,
Or Lucas yourself, you could go with me.
we want anything that Wraith might have left behind, any kind of indication of where they've gone, or I mean anything that will help us find Wraith and find the rest of the people from the town.
Well, who here has stealth qualities besides myself slightly, and Lucas, of course?
I can be a bit stealthy.
Pretty much the people that don't wear heavy armor.
I could also
Technically,
change my
I'm
appearance
not wearing
to look
heavy
like,
armor.
Not currently, no.
I can change my appearance to look like the Reeve, in case there are any townsfolk about, and they'll just think it's normal. He's just going into his house.
So let me ask you this before you get too far in the session here. Are you discussing these plans there with Borthus still there, or are you gonna let him head back home before?
We'll let him go. He's given us his permission.
Yeah. So he can totally go home.
Right. So you guys. So I mean, he will come. It's like I will check the streets, make sure everyone's back in their homes, and then I will check in with you in the morning. See what you need. I'm sure.
Where can we find you in the morning?
I'll be in town.
Okay.
I live in one of the basically. So on the original map there, you had the little central like strip of town there. You had a group of cottages off to the left and a group of cottages off to the right. He's in the cottages off to the right.
Incidentally,
So, not very far away.
that cottage off to the left,
Mm-hmm.
where I believe Wraith was staying there when he stayed here.
He mentioned that the cottage he was in used to belong to someone named Cormer.
Yeah. Was there anybody staying in there with him?
No. Cormer was one of the ones that disappeared, and then Wraith took over the place.
Right. Do you mind if we check out that place as well? Is it empty?
I have no problem with it.
Okay, that'd be good, thank you.
So, with that, he'll kind of wish you guys good luck, and he will drop back down the Rebels of the Stairway and head out into the rain in the evening. You don't see him yell out anything or anything else. He just sort of he just out there and gone for now. So you guys can decide what you want to do next.
So what are we doing here, Lucas? Or am I going with you, or am I just going, or... Because I don't recommend more than two of us go. If we're going to do this tonight.
Yeah, we can go.
Maybe splitting up the party, not in our best interest, right?
Well done. Usually you'd be right, but I think we'll be in and out. What's the worst thing that could happen? And I'll smile at him.
Don't say that.
Like,
Okay.
Not with
So-
the DM listening, anyways.
no. At
Eldon,
this point,
like-
I'll...
Eldon's like laying on the ground.
Yeah.
The DM?
I guess me and Lucas can head out.
I mean,
the gate.
Eldon, you do have things to go with them.
Yes. Yeah. So, y'all want to push Eldon along?
I don't know if it's
I don't
best
want
not
him to
know.
go if he doesn't want to go, but I also don't think that.
I am worried that, I mean, a shadow even hits me with that strength thing. I'm dead.
Just to clarify something here, so you would know
Yeah.
this, and so you would have in the battle there. The shadows drain strength. The demon did not.
Right.
So just to clarify there. So
Yeah.
because
It's
Sora did encounter. Sora was squared off against a demon for the most part. So that was sort of
right.
so yeah. So just
Yeah.
the shadows are the ones that drain strength.
So so I get hit with a shadow. I mean, that's all it wrote for Eldon. Is the only thing. So, Yeah. That's all. But I mean, I still have plenty of spell slots. Like Eldon is willing to go with. Um, but
Here's the thing. If more than a few of us go, then I think Lucas's plan to begin with is kind of fraught for nothing because he wants to go in there not picking up much of fuss. But if we go in there with a bunch of us, because clearly if we go, we're going to want to suit up, I would imagine. Sora's going to want to get
Yeah.
armor on. If we go over there,
Yes.
we're going to be making a lot of noise, more likely than not.
I
If it's me and him or somebody else, or even just one of us, we can be in and out 2 minutes and be back in time before breakfast.
I think it
What if
does
that
need
house
to
is
be
full of
quiet. The reason that I want to go tonight is because tomorrow, if there's anybody in the town who's in league with the Reeve, they might have a problem with us searching the place. But then if we don't go tonight, they might go in and remove whatever it is that he's left there.
Right.
So I think that it's time sensitive. I think we do need to be stealthy and we do need to be quick. It needs to be just go in, have a look around, see if we can find any information, and then get back here and go to sleep.
Our best
So
bet is for not all of us to go then.
Yeah, and as
Well-
quiet as possible.
What if the house is full of stuff that just two of us can't handle?
I think we'll be all right. Because, like I said, they want to get this done. I personally think it's a terrible idea, but I'm not going to let anyone go in there by themselves now, am I?
That's what I'm saying. It's a terrible idea.
He's going to look, and he's like, he'll look over at Lucas. Well, not right now, he's not, because there's a wall between them. But
I mean, you guys can range yourselves wherever you want there. We'll go leave Porthos out of the way. He's not here
yeah,
anymore.
I'll be like, when you're ready, type of
I
thing.
can change my appearance to look as dark as possible, clothing-wise. I could even look like the Reeve if that might help. Lucas can be invisible. Trevor's only tiny anyway. I mean, you have to squint to see him. So,
And wearing a black coat.
Yep. And a black hat.
I'm wearing dark,
and one eye
yeah.
patch.
although his coat's brown now, I believe, not black.
So let's just move these along here. Who's going to the Reeves house?
I'm definitely
Who's staying
going.
behind?
I think.
Put yourselves either over at a bed or over at the hole. And if you're sending anything along with them, make it known now.
I will ritually cast Tinser's floating desk.
Okay, so someone's pushing you along,
Yes.
Jabba the sail barge style. Okay,
Yes.
the tiniest Jabba the Hutt.
The tiniest jab of the hut.
Okay.
So we all go in?
I mean,
Yes, we should all go.
Sora's not going to go.
I don't. I
Nope,
think. I
I'm
think
gonna
Eldon
make
should
too
stay
much
with
noise.
Sora. I think Eldon should stay with Sora. I can.
You're obviously going too. If it's not going to be a stealth, just to follow.
All right, if Sora is staying, I will stay with Sora.
I can do a telepathic bond, so we can all communicate with each other.
Well, you also got two little things that can come along.
Two little
I
things.
can't. I don't think I can cast that far.
You can't cast, but you can still see through their eyes.
I can still see their eyes. Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay.
My
And I
telepathic
would say
bond
that-
lasts for an hour.
The eagle or my hawk still has ice breath on him, right? Wait, how long does
It lasts
that-
for a minute, doesn't it?
Lasts for my last.
Yeah, it's worn off by now. This conversation taking place over a while here, so
Yeah. It's only
yes,
lasts for-
you could definitely. Let's see, creatures. Is there any distance? Yeah. So yeah, if you cast that, you've got no problem staying in touch with everybody.
As long as everybody's on the same plane of existence
Which-
as me, we can still communicate for an hour, and we'll be back before an hour is up. So if you two stay here, and you tell us if anything turns up here, we'll tell you if anything happens there. Hopefully we'll be in and out and straight back.
Okay.
I'm gonna put I'm gonna give Eldon my pouch before I go,
Okay.
and it's moving.
Oh, so yeah,
It's
the
Kodo and Poto.
sure. Yeah, leave it behind. It makes sense. Okay. Same as this. You're going with the guys.
Yeah.
All right. So. All right. So, looks like here we have our separations here. Um, we'll head on out. So, the three of you that are heading out here, give me a perception check as you're heading out of the heading out of the place. Lucas, you will spot in the rubble there is a kind of a pale looking stick that you recognize as the Reeves cane. It's kind of measures rather there. You pull it out, and it looks like pale wood, but you're looking at it, and you realize it's not actually wood. It's molded bone that looks like wood. It looks almost like driftwood, like a stick made of driftwood or something like that. But you realize that no, this is actually the bone that's been molded together, and it looks like driftwood until you actually hold it and look at it. And embedded in the kind of the knobby end of it that you would hold is a dark black stone, about yay big, about a couple inches across there. It's in there. It's just a smooth, polished chunk of black stone. So, and yeah, you and Amethyst would recognize it's probably an arcane focus of some kind. Would have been used to cast spells with. It is not magical, but it is like something that would be, yeah. It could be used for that aspect there. So, do with that what you will. But you guys head out. Are you guys going to leave it here? Are you going to take it with you? What do you want to do with it?
I'll leave it here. Just chuck it up on top.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to cast. Lucas is going to cast invisibility on himself before we go out.
All right. All right. So, did you want to cast it higher level to get more than one person, or are you just going to cast it yourself?
I can't. It's from the Cittern.
Oh, Cittern, right. Gotcha. Okay, so you kind of strum a little bit in the Cittern, and Lucas fades from view. You guys head out into the rain and down the street. It is dark. It is quiet. The rain's lessened a little bit. It's not quite as strong as it was, but you're able to head down the street there. The boardwalk that you walk on there is a bit slick and wet, but it is not walking through mud because it is the whole street per se is like a boardwalk of wooden slats, which you will walk down the way there. You head on. I'm gonna move you guys over to here. You head down from the warehouse here. The Reeves house is the one at the opposite end. It's the one that he came out of yesterday and met you guys as you approached the town. And as you approach the place, there are no lights on in the place there. It is dark. There's only a couple of lights on, just sort of like little flickering candles in a couple windows. But other than that, the town is dark as you walk along. And with the rain coming down, the overcast there, it is pretty much pitch black. You're able to move fairly quietly, but if you want to take any more stealthy measures, go ahead and roll stealth checks. Lucas, you're with advantage, obviously, because you are invisible. Nice.
I'm just awesome. No, not really.
Amethyst. At one point you slip a little bit on the wooden slats there, and you kind of like pause for a moment there as you look around, but no one seems to notice you specifically. No alarms go up, no lights shining you or anything else like that. But you do sort of make a little bit of noise there. But you're able to move down the way and get to the Reeves house itself. The front door seems to be locked as you approach.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I get up through? Which house is it? It's the which one on the?
One on the end.
Okay. Can I get up to one of the? I was gonna go through one of the windows if possible.
It's a little bit missing there. It's sort of a long house there, but yes, there is some windows in the second story.
Yeah.
Do you want to use your hook and go up top? Okay. So
yeah.
as you go up the side there, what are the other two you doing? Lucas and Amethyst, what do you?
Just keeping an eye out outside.
Okay.
Look around the.
window, and I'll let them in through that because we don't want to make it.
All right, then go ahead and give me a, I guess, give me a dexterity check. Just a, yeah,
I like those.
sure. Okay. So you're able to kind of get in there with some. You actually do have these tools on you, do you? Don't
Oh
you?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So between your these tools and everything else, you managed to kind of get the window wedged a little bit there, and managed. It is meant to open. You're able to kind of get the window open without any real trouble or anything, and drop inside. From the second,
For me, right?
yeah, you're able to see just fine. Um, there is no light currently. The room you're in here is sort of a loft style bedroom kind of thing, and you see the covers are kind of rumpled or anything else that, but don't see much of anything else of interest there. Very Spartan kind of, just a bed, just a dresser kind of thing, and a little oil lamp on the dresser next to the bed. That's basically it that's in here.
Okay. Can I open the dresser for any books or anything? I'm gonna open it carefully.
Okay, so you're leading the guys outside.
No, I just wanted to look in the room I'm at before I let them down
Okay.
in there.
All right, so give me an investigation check.
Sure.
This will be you can see you guys are kind of waiting for a couple of minutes as Trevor's rifling through drawers and stuff inside. So you basically find a lot of clothing, various style of clothing like that. You don't find anything that's there's no like hidden books or anything else that.
Got
It's literally just a dresser for clothes.
Yep. And then I'm gonna make my way
Okay.
to let them in.
Okay. You step outside the little doorway. It's in here onto sort of a landing. There's a little seating area on the opposite side of this little landing, and a stairway going down to the first floor. And it's very much sort of like a longhouse sort of thing with a large open living meeting area sort of. And you see basically down the stairs and back back behind you is the front door. There are two doors on either side, and sort of a large table at the back of this room. Just kind of quick glance as you step into this place. There's a couple of other chairs and stuff kind of pushed to the sides of the room
And
as you
let
go to
them
the
in,
front
I'll
door.
and I'll say, oh, sorry. Yeah, I go to the front door.
Okay. So you guys hear the front door and unlock there, and you just so it opens up fairly quietly. Again, the rain outside, and the three of you are inside.
The first thing I want to do is cast Detect Magic and just have a walk around the whole place and see if there's anything magical.
Okay. You definitely. Let's see here. Yep. At first glance, there really isn't much magical that you can see. It's all fairly just kind of plain, sparse furnishings, kind of like rough-hewn chairs and tables, everything else that. Um, However, give me a perception check with that active. Okay. You can't really get a strong sense of any magical auras in this room or anything else that, but you do get at the back of the room by the table, there is a faint bit of aura that you can detect in kind of at the floor of the room in the back. You don't see much in the way. Again, it's sort of like a dining slash like meeting table. It's just sort of a bare table right now with four chairs spread around. Some more chairs, like I said, along the sides of the rooms are kind of pushed to the sides there. A big rug in the center. That's it's kind of got a big oval rug in the center of the room, and then doors off to either side. But other than that, the only magical sense is a faint magical aura coming from the floor in at the back of the room past the table.
I'll go and have a look then.
Okay. It takes a minute as you're looking around there. So you're kind of expecting that there. What are the other two doing while Amethyst heads to the back of the room?
I'm probably gonna kind of like look for any books or for any tattered notes or anything like that.
Nothing in this room at all. It's very sparse. There's not much here. You'll see on the bookshelf there is sort of a set of shelves, not a bookshelf, but a set of shelves
Right.
on the wall by the table there with some like beaten pewter plates and cups and flatware that can be put out on the table there. But it's all set aside up there. You don't see any sort of books or notes or anything else scattered around this room at all. It's yeah.
No, at this point I'd just be kind of keeping watch out.
Okay, Lucas, how about you?
Have a look around, check under the rug, see if there's any
Okay.
trapdoors or anything like
You pull the rug back, and there is no trap door or anything else. They're just a bare floor. Again, there's the doors on either side of the room, and other than that, like I said, it's kind of an open meeting / dining space here.
that. After looking under there, I'll just head into one of the rooms and just have a
Okay.
quick look around.
Yeah, I'd probably
So-
go to an opposite room.
Okay, so you guys go to the other side there. The room to the right actually does have sort of like a kitchen and a sort of another little table, more like a dining nook kind of thing like that there. And the kitchen has just sort of just a very basic hearth with a pot set in it there. The coals are certainly are currently cold. There's some like cooking implements and stuff there. Fairly bare and not really well stocked or anything else like that. You will see that there is a small cot kind of tucked up against the wall in the back in the kitchen area there, but there's currently nobody there. Lucas, on the other wall, the other door on the opposite side there, you'll find what looks to be maybe like a parlor or a sitting room kind of thing. Again, fairly basic furnishings, nothing very fancy. There is a bookshelf there, but there's only about like maybe 6 books on it, and they're just sort of these fairly mundane titles of like histories or lineages or fishing lore or anything else in a basic geography text. Nothing really of any like interest. It's all sort of basic stuff that you've seen before. Similar things. But the two of you go give me investigation checks, and then we'll come back to you in a minute, just a second here, Amethyst. So while you're searching around those rooms, you find anything of note. Okay. Lucas will come. You will find tucked into one of the books is as you're kind of flipping through, they're kind of just leafing through them here with a 15 there. You will find a small scrap of paper. Looks like it was taken from another book that was kind of tucked in, and it does have. Let me see your languages real fast here. Yes, you will see it does have a little scrap of what looks to be some abyssal writing. It's not a. It's almost like it was a strip of paper taken from something else, kind of tucked in, almost like a bookmark kind of thing. But it does have writing in abyssal. Again, it's torn partially of the writing there, so you can't make out the rest of it. But there is something at least. Again, which you're able to read there, it doesn't make any sense because the words have been partially ripped off. And Abyssal's an obnoxiously difficult language to mess with anyway because it uses the Infernal script, but really bad grammar and really bad anything else. It's like it's hard to. Abyssal's awful.
Yeah.
Especially written Abyssal, it's just a chaotic mess. So the one thing you'll catch there is at least part of the word there looks to be darkness. So something along those lines. But again, there's no telling what text this came from. It was just sort of tucked into this other space. Lucas, you check out the cot, and it does look like it's meant for someone of smaller stature. It would be pretty comfortable for you to sleep in. But the blankets have been kind of there's like a threadbare blanket over top of it, and it's been kind of tossed to the side, like it's been like pulled back. And you don't see any sign of the person that may be sleeping in it. However, you do see that there is sort of a wet spot at the base of the bed where someone might have a like some boots or some shoes that are no longer there. And kind of following that, you realize that there are some very faint wet footprints that head out the door. They head out toward the front door.
Okay, and you said it was more. I know you said Lucas. I'm assuming you meant me.
Yeah, there's Trevor back
no,
in the
you're
kitchen.
good. I just wanted to double
Yeah,
check. I wasn't.
yeah. So yeah, you saw that, and
So what
you
now?
realize too, what you're able to make from the footprints there, they are smaller sized, about your size, maybe a little bit larger.
All right. I'd mention it to Lucas.
Okay.
Assuming he's right there by me, and like.
Well, you meet back up in the main room then. So as you're kind of following the footprints out there, Lucas, you be walking out, seeing Trevor. Amethyst. So you kind of that bit of there. You with the fact that you can detect magic there, you will spot eventually that there is some sort of a trap door or something. And you realize that sort of the one of the floor, you're kind of poking around where you feeling this, you see and feeling this aura. One of the floorboards sort of flips up when you press on it, and there's like a latch underneath it, like a little like a loop you can grab. So essentially, yeah, there is a way to kind of pull up this section of the floor. It seems like the slats. So now that you can kind of see it there, you see that. So
I'll tell Trevor and Lucas that I've found something.
Okay.
And then I might use Mage Hand to try to lift it.
Okay. So as you guys move back there, the door's probably a little more than 10 pounds, but you can kind of like push it up there and kind of pull at the hand a little bit. Well, I'll say that the trap door itself sort of wiggles a little bit as you move it there, but you can't quite lift it. So like you sort of wiggle it back and forth a bit, but it doesn't actually lift up. So the mage hand, either it can't quite lift it the whole way, or it's not, or it's secured somehow.
I think maybe we should leave it and then just search the rest of the place and maybe come back. I was thinking just finding information, not exploring.
Yeah, but okay. There might be information in there.
Yeah, there might be other things in there as well.
Okay.
Okay. So again, there's some sort of a trap door back behind the dining area of this room. Lucas, you found some sort of abyssal scrap of paper tucked in one of the books in the sort of the parlor room off to the left. Trevor, there's obviously a cot in the kitchen area where a set of small-sized boots that were wet left went out the front door.
Yeah, I'd be interested in tracking that down, but I'd want to get with them, seeing if it's worth it first. Tell them about the stature.
Okay. I would say that the fact that you don't actually, do you have survival skill?
I should. Ranger.
Doesn't mean you actually have it.
Yeah, that's true too. I have a +2.
Yeah. So you would say this, tracking someone at night in the rain, even with your vision abilities there, not likely to be very easy.
Well, let me ask you this:
Yeah.
would they be my favored enemy at all?
I don't think so. Well, I mean, what are your favorite enemies exactly?
There are goblin, and then let's see who else is there. Hold on one second. Features and traits.
This is part of the reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of the reason why favorite enemy doesn't work the way it is currently in the system.
I'm trying to see. I don't.
It should be in features and traits there. You should have your selections there.
Goblins, halflings, and gnomes.
No.
Okay.
I mean, not that you could tell that from a pair of wet footprints, but I mean, technically it wouldn't. Technically, it would not be any of those.
Was there only 2 rooms off this room? Or was there 2 on
Yeah.
each side, you say?
Pretty much. I mean, essentially, it's sort of a kind of a longer, narrower space there, and then rooms off to either side, and then a room upstairs with a little seating area up the stairs there. It's kind of an oddly shaped building.
Just search the rest of the building.
Okay. There really isn't much more to see. I mean, it's a fairly small. I mean, while it's large compared to other places, it has multiple rooms, and multiple floors at least. You kind of look around the place there, and don't really spot much of anything else in terms of the only place you haven't checked out in any kind of detail would be whatever's underneath the trapdoor.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's our next destination, I would imagine. So I'll go head back to where Amethyst was. Is she still up there?
So are we going to leave this and come back tomorrow with everybody, or?
Then I wouldn't think there was much of a point to come here, then, was there?
Well, I was thinking about if there's any papers or anything that someone could destroy, but if there's a hidden trapdoor, that's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah. But maybe there's some papers inside the hidden trapdoor.
You really just want to go down the trapdoor. I kind of do too. What's the worst that
Sort of
can happen?
suggesting we barricade it. But, I mean,
Yeah, you guys, so Amethyst, yeah, if you can relay this to them, because you have the telepathic bond up there, as far as I know. So yeah, you can tell them what you're finding, get their input there.
I have been letting Sora know.
Yeah. So all that your any Sora, any suggestions you want to throw in there, Eldon, any suggestions you want to throw in, obviously
I'm sleeping.
if they're
Well,
the
only thing that I would suggest is while it is raining and the fresh footprints are still there, we should probably follow it before the rain washes them away. As far as the trap door goes, we should probably trap it or barricade it or magically do something to it so that nobody else can get to it before we do.
Can anybody set traps? Can Trevor do that?
Technically, any of us could. I don't
You
know how
can,
well
yeah.
it'll be.
Whoever sets the
Not
trap,
gonna
they
be
have
like
to
the
beat your
alarms and
DC.
stuff,
So
like,
yeah, but you have to have a trap. So what kind of trap you're gonna make?
right.
True.
I mean, you can like try to do something Home Alone style or whatever, but I mean,
I have.
I mean, you would need things to do that with. So unless you want to get creative with things you happen to have on you, or yeah.
Funny enough,
Unless
I have traps on me.